You start right now. So, that's my clipboard. You didn't bring up the freaking clipboard. But I think we nailed it. You did first. The guy asked us what we do. I told one story, you told a different story. I thought your story was better. But the story I told was that, started Spun Software over 22 years ago now, and we've done workflow systems and custom software development for hundreds of companies. And what we've learned in all these years is that majority of companies do the same thing. They all have different little nuances. Well, instead of starting from scratch with, okay, what are you looking to achieve? What are you trying to get out of this thing? What's going on in your company? We have found processes and the questions to ask to get down to. Today was a perfect example. We were meeting with a client. We booked 2 hours with their 2 sales guys in the 2 different departments. And in 35 minutes in the meeting, we're like, do we cover everything? Right. Because we know the questions to ask now and to get right to the root of what we got to solve. And we even got them to say, we know there's issues here, we should be doing this, but we're not. They pinpoint the problems for us. Most companies know what's going on. The worker bees usually know what can be solved. Sometimes they're way out of the ballpark on it because it's too expensive, crazy. But sometimes it's like, yeah, we just did this a little bit different. We had this or had management, backing us. Or if we were told we had to have done this way, we would make sure we did it that way. A lot of people just want direction. They want to be held accountable. So what we did is we created PACManager, which is project and cost management. But if you think about the tagline itself, it explains everything that we do. It's a project and its cost are the entire company. It starts all the way back at sales, but that sales effort, cost, time goes right into your cost of the overall project, your deliverable of that project. So it is a full encompassing thing. It's not just project management. It's entire business management. But it starts off with the projects and then it works its way outward from there. That's how I explain it. What did you do?
Well, what you were saying, I was thinking of why my explanation is different. And I think it's because they're so used to basically paratrooping into other companies, and it's like, I'm in the middle of a battlefield now. I got this, there's data flying everywhere, and it's chaos. And so the first thing I'm basically trying to determine, is this about to be triage, or is it just the perception that things are out of control? Is that what's going on here? And I know I'm not going to repeat exactly what I said earlier.
It was brilliant.
I wish I'd recorded it, but the gist had something along the lines of, it was like identifying where processes are not being followed or something along those lines and going out of control. I was touching on that. There was the looking under the hood of a lot of different industries that you were just touching on. I know I mentioned that as well. A lot of the stuff I was saying just before about how you've got processes that if they do exist, that they still make sense because there could be different constraints or there could be a different budget or a different team in place from when the plan was originally being made, like the process is just being followed because it's what we always did. That's a thing that happens.
Well, what we learned today too was this company actually has a ton of data, which is unusual. It's usually walk into places and they don't have enough data, or it's bad, it's such bad data, or it's partial data, which partial data is worse. But they have a ton of data, so much so.
They have an abundance of data.
They're getting bombarded with notifications throughout the day constantly. And it's just constant overload. And it's gotten to the point where anything, and it's happened here in our own company, if I get the same report every day of what happened the day before, eventually it becomes white noise, and I create a rule, and just goes to I'll look at tomorrow folder, which then gets a new rule that says look at next week folder, which gets a new rule that says archive. And, but it just happens over time, and then that's the beginning of the end. Because once that process is broken, then it trickles into, well, also we're not having these meetings, then we aren't following up on these things, then we aren't tracking these things, we aren't allocating like we used to, and then the whole world falls apart. But I'll start with the fact that we weren't giving the right amount of concise data at the right interval. Too much data is not a good thing. There is such a thing as too much data. So you want to give it in a timely manner with effective information that it can be action driven. That's one of the things we constantly hammer on. Every report needs to drive action. Everything in the screen that's inside the software needs to drive action. It's always supposed to be moving forward. It's not meant to be, oh hey, look, yeah, things are good. It's things are here, this is where you want to go, this is how you're going to get there. And a good report explains, shows the data and explains how to read that data.